One of my favorite aspects of biology is turning what I used to believe as fact get turned upon its head. Each time I learn something new, I realize how the patterns and trends in my knowledge do not always apply in every situation. These discrepancies do make life challenging, but more importantly, expand my perspective on life and help me to think more critically. One of the most fascinating examples for me is the mode of nutrition of organisms. Organisms can be classified generally as autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophs produce their nutrients from inorganic substances through various processes. There are two main classes of autotrophs: chemoautotrophs and photoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs, of which are prokaryotes, produce their own food using inorganic energy sources such as hydrogen sulfide, elemental sulfur, ferrous iron, and also molecular hydrogen and ammonia. Oftentimes, these are classified as extremophiles as they are found in thermal springs and deep sea vents. Photoautotrophs are those that synthesize their food using light as an energy source. These may be prokaryotes, like cyanobacteria, or eukaryotes, like algae and plants. The light energy allows these organisms to produce biomolecules from carbon dioxide via photosynthesis. This is sufficient enough for most plants and algae. Most. Sometimes plants can be parasitic. Parasitism is one type of symbiotic relationship between two species. A parasite is an organism which lives in or on another organism, called its host, and benefits by deriving nutrients at the other's expense. The parasite benefits from this arrangement, whereas the host is left harmed. About 1% of all plants and algae are parasitic. How could we identify an example of these? While they appear as what they are, they lack chloroplasts and therefore cannot perform photosynthesis. Instead, they grow on organic matter or other plants to obtain their carbon compound nutrition. How can we know then that plants are photoautotrophs rather than parasitic heterotrophs? Well, evolutionarily speaking, it is quite difficult for cells to develop chloroplasts from none, whereas it's simpler to lose them. This suggests that these parasitic plant heterotrophs evolved regularly from autotrophs. Okay, so there are autotrophic and heterotrophic plants. That is messed up enough, so we should be done right? Well, some plants are carnivorous. These represent only 0.2% of all plant species, but have still managed to capture the imagination of people. Three of the most well-known types of carnivorous plants are the sundew, Venus flytrap, and pitcher plant. These plants can be found in nutrient-poor and/or waterlogged soil, making it difficult for them to maintain proper health, growth, and reproduction. However, they developed their own strategy around this. Rather than knocking on death's door, they capture unsuspecting invertebrates and digest them to replace deficient nutrients. To attract their victims, they secrete sweet nectar. My personal favorite of the types is the pitcher plant, which uses a modified leaf to concentrate its nectar. Insects smell the nectar, climb onto the lip of the leaf, and fall into their final meal. Yet, these plants are still autotrophs. Why? Because they can produce enough carbon nutrients, like carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids, from their environment without feeding on invertebrate life, if enough nutrients are available in the soil.